Hey guys, thanks for tuning in. If this is your first time checking in, please click that subscribe button down below, and remember, as always, likes go a long way to help support the channel. If you've been following the channel, you'll know that I just recently picked up a 2018 Harley-Davidson Heritage 114, and I thought what more fitting for tech checks and motor vlogs than to do a tech and motor product, which is here, the Dynojet Power Vision, which is a flash tuning device for Harley-Davidson, and they also sell them for Polaris, Indian, and Can-Ams as well. If you are interested in this Dynojet Power Vision unit, you can click the link in the description down below for current pricing and availability. Also, I'll provide a link to the quad lock that I used to mount this to the bike as well. So let's just go ahead and start with the unboxing. As you see, as you open it up here, you get a quick start installation guide. A notice here just basically telling you which operating systems and the version of software you need to install for those operating systems. And on the reverse side, it tells you where the connectors are located on your bikes. And then, of course, you have your product registration and limited warranty as well. Now, right off the bat, this unit is really nice. I consider this a tool more than anything. So I think a lot of people would look at this and say, well, this is like an old display technology, or it's not Bluetooth compatible, but that's what actually makes this great. It is a dedicated unit, does not rely on Bluetooth connectivity. It does not try to get too gimmicky and just focuses on doing what it does, and it does it very, very well, as you'll see later on in the video. And here you have your USB cable. This is what you're going to hook it up to your computer with, download your firmware and stock tunes from their website. Here you have your 8-pin connector. This hooks into your Harley-Davidson wiring, real simple. And nice touch, they give you some 3M hook and loop tape if that's how you decide you want to mount this unit on your bike. And they give you all the zip ties necessary for tucking in all your wiring. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to download and install the Power Vision software on your PC. And they do not have Power Vision software for Mac, so you will need to have access to a PC to do this. But you always want to make sure you download the most up-to-date firmware before you proceed with anything. So we are going to go ahead and do just that. You hook up your USB cable right to the side here. It's covered with a little rubber boot to basically just weather protect it. Plug it in and make sure you're connected, hook it up to your computer, and then you're going to want to proceed with downloading the most up-to-date firmware versions. It's really simple. You just hook it up and the software will guide you through pretty much the entire process. You check for the updates, select the ones you need to install, and then just click download and install selected updates. And then just let it go through the firmware update process on the unit. And once you're done with that, you can start downloading whatever tunes you need off their website. They have them for my bike with stock improved, S&S slip-on mufflers, Reinhardt slip-on mufflers, high airflow cleaners, two Bros 2-in-1 Gen 2s, and some Reinhardt 2-to-1. So there are a lot of options here, and you can just load those right up into your tuner. So when you go and hook this up to your bike, whatever tune you need is at your disposal. Now I'm going to install this with the quad lock universal adapter. I've done reviews on these in the past. I have used it for my cell phone. I really like it, so I'm going to go ahead and use the same thing for the Dynojet. And the way that I did this was I just took one of my daughter's crayons actually and got a pattern of their bolt pattern off the back of the Power Vision so that I can go ahead and drill some holes in that universal adapter for the quad lock. This will also end up covering up the serial numbers, so I always kind of just recommend get a picture of those. You never know when you're going to need to go back and consult with those numbers, especially if you're going to cover them up. So as you see here, I'll just use my template, mark it out, and then I just went and drilled the holes through it. This is not only going to allow you to use the 4 screws, but you're also going to have some 3M tape on the back of it, so it's going to be really secure. It won't go anywhere, but it's easy enough to take on and off the bike and store for safekeeping. So we'll just take the 3M backing off here, set it up in place, and then tighten down all 4 screws. And now we can start with the installation. On my 2018 Harley-Davidson Heritage 114 Softail, the connector for the ECU is right next to the fuse box. It's located underneath this panel. So you're going to need to remove that to hook up your Power Vision. Now what I always like to do when I'm dealing with any sort of electronics, especially when you get into custom harnesses like this, I like to just rough in the wiring and really kind of make sure I know where it's going to be running before I start really getting everything permanently mounted. Again, this goes for the unit. As you can see here, I just take my quad lock and ultimately just kind of play with locations for it where it's best going to be suited for my vision and be unobtrusive to any cables. So once I get that all set up and know where my mounting location is, I can go ahead and finish up getting these wires run and put in their final location. I actually went right up through the fork. There's a little cutout for the existing wire harness. I followed right up along through there. And once you get that all done, you get everything zip tied where it needs to go, you can put the cover back on, and that is really all it is for installation. One of the easiest automotive products that I've ever installed in my life. To be honest with you, it was just extremely simple. You just want to make sure that your wire is not touching any of the heads where it might overheat and melt or anything like that. The final resting place for the wire, my bike basically just was up through the backbone of the bike, up underneath the tank, and it stayed away from anything, heat sources, and I was able to zip tie it all together. Now, once you power the bike up, the Power Vision just turns right on. You'll go through and you can start playing with some of the gauges. I'll get into that a little bit more in depth later. In this video, I just kind of wanted to give a quick kind of overview of this unit, show you some of the sensor data. And one of the things with this unit, not only is it just full of data, the fact that it's a standalone unit to me is more important. As you can see my phone off to the right there, it can overheat, shut down. I don't want to rely on Bluetooth. I love having a dedicated unit. And just pushing the programs to the computer is super simple. As you can see here, I basically this is the first time that I pushed their stock tune over top of my factory tune and just kind of took it for a quick ride. And the way this unit works is that when you start to upload a new tune to the bike, it automatically marries your unit to your VIN number. Basically, it becomes a part of your bike. You don't need to have it on there if you don't want to. You can ride with it or without it, but you can't use this on any other motorcycles without buying an additional license. So you can buy another license and use this for several bikes if you wanted to, which is very nice also. But automatically, when you push a new tune from their website or even a third party to your bike, that very first time it downloads your factory tune onto the unit and saves it. So you always have your factory tune that you can go back to on this bike if you choose to. So that is a very nice touch. I like the way they implement that. There's not a whole lot of registration process. It's really simple and straightforward. I will get into some of this stuff a little bit more in depth down the road. I just kind of wanted to make this an introduction to the Power Vision, and here you can see I'm just showing you some of the data I was able to pull from this unit, and I put into some graphical overlays here. It is packed full of information. Now for this ride, I did use the 114 stock improved with the stock exhaust and stock air cleaner tune provided from Dynojet. And I have to say that immediately the power of this bike, it just changed the way it rides completely with everything being bone stock. I will be getting into doing like an aftermarket exhaust and really testing it with things like that, but I was very impressed with just the change in power output. It's far more linear through the entire ride. I just felt like it was even more accessible than what it was previously, and it was impressive to begin with. So I was really, again, just blown away with just how much one tune can do to a bike in changing its riding performance. So not only do you get a ton more information about what's going on with the temperature of your bike, you get your miles per gallon, you get your throttle position indicators, and just all kinds of information that you really can use later to disseminate how your bike is running and maybe further tweaks you want to make. They also have an auto-tuning feature, which I have yet to use, where basically the unit will go ahead and start tuning the bike based on its live information that it's receiving from the computer. So this is really, really just a completely technology-packed unit that provides you with more data than I was even expecting, to be honest with you. So I really would highly recommend this thing. I mean, I'm just blown away with the technology of it and what it does and how it can transform your bike. If you have been looking for a tuner for your bike, I would say look no further than the Dynojet Power Vision. This thing is just absolutely incredible. I also will be doing some future update videos on this thing. I'll be doing some 0 to 60 times and really kind of putting this thing through its paces to show you really what it's capable of. Again, for this video, I just kind of wanted to go through, show you, what it was, how to install it, and some of the data that it provides you. And then, stay tuned for future videos, as I will definitely be doing some more content around this unit. And as I add some additional modifications to the bike, how you would go ahead and tweak some of these things as you put those things on. So again, thank you very much for watching. If this is your first time, please click that subscribe button down below, and remember, likes go a long way to help support the channel. And I will just play out the rest of this clip for you so you can kind of see how these engine temperatures and everything change as you're riding the bike. So we will see you next time.